Let's be honest for a second. You haven't texted anyone back in 3 months. Your birthday passed by, and for the first time, there were no big plans, no forced dinners, and surprisingly, no complaints from your side. Someone recently reached out to ask if you wanted to hang out, and you simply said, I'm busy. But here's the twist. You weren't lying. You actually were busy. You were busy protecting your peace, auditing your soul, and cleaning up the emotional clutter that has been piling up for years. And honestly, you've never felt lighter. People in your circle might be calling you cold now. They say you've changed, that you've become the one who cut everyone off. But here's the question nobody is asking. What if you didn't actually cut people off? What if you just stopped pretending you weren't already alone while standing in the middle of their crowded rooms? Before we dive deep into the fascinating brain mechanics and the survival instincts behind this quiet escape, I want to check in with you. If this story feels like I'm reading your private journal, you've found your tribe. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small click for you, but it helps us keep creating a space where we understand our patterns instead of judging them. For years, you were probably the glue of your social circle. You were the unpaid therapist, the reliable 911 call at 3 a.m., the one who drove hours to fix someone else's crisis, and the person who remembered every anniversary like it was your full-time job. You were an emotional convenience store, open 24/7, always stocked with empathy and ready to serve. But then, life hit you hard. You needed a hand, a shoulder, or just a "How are you, and what did you hear?" Crickets. Maybe you got a "Sorry to hear that" text 3 days late. Maybe someone promised to call back and never did. Suddenly, the math in your head stopped making sense. This is where your brain did something brilliant and brutal. It started running a cost-benefit analysis without your permission. Every interaction became a spreadsheet. You started measuring the energy output versus the emotional return, and the data was devastating. You realized you were the only one initiating, the only one adjusting schedules, and the only one sacrificing. This is where psychology gets interesting. Your nervous system, this incredible, ancient survival machine, started recognizing a pattern. It learned that for you, connection almost always equaled eventual abandonment. You realized that every time you showed up with your whole heart, you ended up sitting alone with the pieces. So you decided to control the only variable you had left, the exit. Let's be real, abandonment hurts a lot less when you're the one who initiates the departure. People call it self-sabotage. I call it pattern recognition. But this didn't start in your 30s or 20s. Somewhere back in your childhood, you learned that needing people was a high-risk gamble. Maybe you had a parent who was physically present but emotionally a ghost. You became the kid who handled everything alone because asking for help meant hearing "not now," "be quiet," or worse, nothing at all. Your feelings were treated as inconvenient, so you learned to tuck them away. Those early experiences drew the map of your world. They taught you that the only person who is 100% guaranteed to show up for you is you. Now, people will tell you that you've built walls. But I want to offer you a different perspective. You didn't build walls, you installed a high-tech security system. There's a massive difference. Walls keep everyone out indiscriminately. Boundaries, the kind you're building now, keep the wrong people out. After years of letting people walk through your living room with muddy boots, you've finally decided to lock the door. You've become a detective of abandonment. You can spot the signs a mile away now. You see the subtle shift in tone, the "we should catch up" that actually means never, and the friend who only vibrates in your pocket when they need a favor. You've developed what psychologists call hypervigilance. It's not paranoia, it's accuracy. You're reading micro patterns that others miss because you can no longer afford to be wrong. The loneliest you ever felt wasn't when you stopped texting people back. It was when you were sitting in a room full of friends, feeling completely invisible. The isolation you've chosen now didn't create the loneliness. It just stopped the charade. It's a space where you can't be abandoned because there's no one close enough to leave. This quiet phase isn't about rejecting love forever. It's about refusing to accept the broken, one-sided version of it that's been offered to you. It's about saying, if this is the price of admission, I'd rather stay home. You are protecting the small flame of hope inside you. keeping it alive by refusing to let anyone blow it out again. You aren't cold, you're clear. You aren't giving up. You're finally putting yourself at the top of your own priority list. And honestly, while you're reclaiming your time and energy, it's fascinating to see where else we can apply this refusal to follow the crowd mindset. Just as you've stepped away from social obligations that don't serve you, some people find themselves completely untouched by the massive hype of stadium roars and competitive scores that seem to consume everyone else. We'll be exploring that unique kind of social outsider perspective in our next discussion. Thank you for spending these few minutes of your quiet time with me. Take a deep breath, stay true to your boundaries, and I'll see you in the next one.